Hey guys, David Stem, Yacklash Fishing and founder of the North American Kayak Anglers Association. Today I wanted to do a quick video for you beginners out there, and this is going to show you a couple of different knots, give you a couple of options on knots to join your braid mainline to your leader. I'm going to show you the FG knot, which is the knot I use, and I'll explain to you why I use it. And I'm also going to show you the knot that I started with, which is the Uni-to-Uni. It's a great knot. It's easy to tie. It does have its disadvantages, and we'll talk about those. So stay with me, and let's learn how to tie these two knots. Okay, so the first knot that I'm going to show you is the easier of the two knots. This is not the one that I particularly care for, and I'll show you why, but it's a fine knot, it works well, and it's easy to tie. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our leader and our main line and just kind of overlap them, lay them on top of one another. And the trick to this knot, this is the double uni knot, so the trick to this knot, first we're going to take our braid and we're going to double it back and just make a loop and hold that loop with your fingers. So now we've got the braid is coming this way and we've doubled back and we're pinching it. And you can, hopefully the camera can pick this up. What you're going to do is you're going to take the tag end of the braid and you're going to go inside the loop around both the braid and the leader about 5 to 6 times. If it's large diameter leader, I may only do 3 or 4. This is 30 pounds, so we'll do 5. We'll do 5 wraps. That's 4 and 1 more. Let's go 1 more wrap here, and that's 5. We'll come back through the loop. Okay, now what you're going to do is you're going to pull that tight, and you'll see this while you're holding the other end. You'll see how that pinches down on the leader. Okay, so now we're going to do the exact same thing with the leader, and hopefully, so we're going to double it back and make that same loop and hold it, and then we're going to put the tag end of the leader through the loop 5 times. So that's 1, and I've got way too much tag in, but that's okay. 2, and I hope that you can see this. I'm going in the loop around both the leader and the braid. That's 4, and 1 more. Let's do 1 more wrap. Okay, so now what we're going to do is hold the leader and pull that knot tight, and you'll see it do the same thing that the braid did. It's just going to form, kind of cinch down around the braid. So at this point, all you have to do, we're just going to give it a little saliva to lubricate it, and you're going to take both the main end of the braid and the main end of the leader, and you're just going to pull them so that those knots come together and tighten down on one another. And that is the Uni-to-Uni. Now, of course, and I apologize for the lawn mowing in the background. So you're just going to cut the tag end of both the braid and the leader, and this is the knot that you're left with. And it's a really strong knot. It's easy to tie, and it works very well. And if you're just getting started, I would recommend that this is the one you start with. And so what I'm going to do now is we're going to move on to the second knot, and I'm going to cut this out and save it so that we can come back to it, and I'll show you why the Uni-to-Uni is not the knot. See what I did there? Not the knot that I particularly like. Okay, now the next knot that I'm going to show you is the one that I personally prefer, and I'll show you why after we tie it. This is the FG knot. And the downside of this knot is that it's a little more difficult and time consuming to tie, but you'll see when we're done, you'll see the upshot of this knot. So the caveat with this knot is that you need tension on the braid in order to tie this knot. So what I do is when I'm out on the kayak, I put the rod in the rod holder with the reel engaged, and I just wrap the braid around my pinky like this, and that way I'm able to keep that tension on the line. It doesn't have to be super tight, but you do need tension in the line. So then what you're going to do is you're going to come in with your braid, and you're going to start just by laying the braid behind, or excuse me, laying the leader behind the braid, just like that. And you're going to take the end of the leader, and you're going, let me get a little, there we go, okay. So again, keeping the tension on the braid with your hand, because you have it wrapped around your pinky. So you're going to come in with your leader behind the braid, just like that. And you're going to start by going over where you have it pinched one time, and then you're going to go under one time. Now that's 2 wraps. You've gone over and under, and you're just going to repeat this while keeping tension on the braid and tension on the leader. You're pulling it to the left. Hopefully you can see that right angle here. And that's what you're going to keep. So we've done 2 wraps, and we're just going to go continue that over and under, over and under, and that's 6 wraps. And I usually do about 20 to 22. So we're going to go 7, 8, 9, 10, and this goes much quicker on the boat when I'm not trying to film it. 11, 12. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. And we'll just, you know what, we'll do 20, because a lot of guys, that's all they do anyway. I usually do 22, but for the purposes of this video, we'll just do 20 wraps. So we've done 20 wraps, and you can see what this is looking like. So we've wrapped this around 20 times. We have tension on everything. And now what you want to do is you want to pinch the leader and the braid together to hold that. And you're going to take the braid, the tag end of the braid that you had wrapped around your finger, and you're going to tie a simple loop knot and pull that tight. And what all that does is that holds the knot in place now, so you don't have to worry about keeping that tension. In fact, I'm going to disengage my reel now, and this knot there's no tension on the line. So you do that. You want to do that overhand knot twice. So I've done it once. Now we're going to do another overhand knot. And we're just tied 2 simple overhand knots. And so now the knot is held in place, but it's still not an FG knot. So now what we have to do, and if you don't have a knot puller, guys, spend $16 on Amazon and get one of these. It will absolutely save your hands. So we're going to wrap our braid on this side. And we're going to wrap our leader on this side. And when I pull this, I want you to pay attention to the knot and watch how it changes colors. So we're going to pull the tension, and hopefully you can see that it's getting darker, and it starts at the front and moves to the back. And now that knot is tied, okay? So now we have to clean it up. So at this point, we've tightened the knot down, and so you can go ahead and cut off the tag end of the leader. And you can cut this as close to the knot as you want to, because effectively what we've done, what this braid has done, is it has tightened itself down into the fluorocarbon. It's kind of eaten down into the fluorocarbon, and it is not going anywhere. So once we've cut the tag end of the leader off, now we can go ahead and do the same thing we did before. We want to tie just a couple of loop knots. I tie one and pull it tight. Then I'll tie two, and pull it tight. Okay, now the third one I'm going to go through and twice instead of just once. I guess this would be a double loop knot. So I'm going to go through once. Oh, sorry, excuse me. Go through once, and then back through again twice. And now we're going to pull this tight. This is knot number 3. This is a double loop knot. Now we're going to pull that tight, and this knot is done. Okay, let's trim again. Let's trim the tag end of the braid off. And again, you can trim this right up against the knot. It's perfectly fine. My scissors are dull, but you get the idea. Now, let's discuss the differences between these two knots. So now that we've got both the double uni and the FG knot tied, I wanted to lay them out side by side so we could talk about the difference in the knot. They both have their advantage and their disadvantage. And to me, with the advantage with the FG outweighs its disadvantage, and that's why I use it. So the advantage with the uni-to-uni knot is it's much simpler to tie. The disadvantage with the uni-to-uni knot is the size of the knot itself. You can see that when that fluorocarbon, the way that it's tied, it creates kind of a barrel shape. And that doesn't go through your guides as easily and as smoothly as the FG knot. So if you look at the FG knot, it is literally the diameter of the fluorocarbon. There's really no difference. And so I use a lot of leader. I fish for snook. They are notorious for chafing the line, so I'm cutting the bait off and retying almost after every fish. And so I want a lot of leader, so I don't have to tie a lot of leader to line knots. I can cut and retie 10 or 15 times and still have enough leader on there. So that's why I personally choose the FG. Again, if you're just getting started, I would say go with the one that's easier to tie, especially if you don't need a lot of leader. But there, and listen, there are probably 500 different line to leader knots that you can tie. And there's videos, I'm sure, that will give instructions on how to do that. I wanted to show you my favorite two, and to explain to you how to do it and why I use the one that I use. So there you have it, guys. That is the uni-to-uni knot and the FG knot, two of the most popular knots for joining main line to leader. The FG knot is harder to tie, but it's smaller diameter. The Uni-to-Uni knot is easier to tie, but it's larger diameter. So determine what's going to work for you and learn how to tie these knots before you hit the water. I didn't do that, and I can't tell you the amount of time I spent on the water frustrated trying to figure these things out when I should have mastered these at home and been ready on the water. But those are the kind of things that you just have to experience them to learn. And so hopefully my ignorance will save you from having to do that. So thanks for watching. If you like this video, hit the like button, subscribe to the Yaklash channel, and head over to the North American Kayak Anglers Association YouTube channel and give us a follow over there, where we'll feature not only Yaklash content, but content from creators around the country. So remember, the earth is 2/3 water, so spend twice as much time fishing as you do working. Tight lines.